Welcome, friends, for another session on the quant topics that we cover. So today's is a concept session. So just to summarize, Marco. So what we do primarily is we start with a topic, do a fundamental class, and then followed by two sessions on practicing that particular topic. So we start with, like we said, we start with percentage and profit and loss today. It will be completely a fundamental class. We may not solve much problem. Take few examples just to understand and make sure you understand the concept. In the next session, we'll do foundational level problems, or typically problems that will cement your understanding of the concepts that we learned today. Then in the third session, we typically go to a level 2, level 3 problem or advanced level problems. So this is the model we follow, and we have already covered few topics. You can check the description box or the I button above. I'll put a link on the previous sessions on other topics. You can have a look. What we primarily planning to do in today's session is covering this topic on percentage and profit and loss both together, because they are very closely knit topics. Importance of these topics when it comes to exams like CAT, SNAP, or INMAT, IFT, or any other MBA entrance exam, if you ask me, it's huge. Why I say huge? Because it's not the topic, not the problems that can come only from this area. So let's say you get a profit and loss problem or a percentage problem. That's one way of getting it. But there is also a chance if you get a, let's say, a average mixed allocation problem or any other area, let's say a time speed distance problem, there is also a percentage angle to it. Not only that, if you go to data interpretations or typical DIs, there is a lot of problem that requires knowledge of percentage and to some extent profit and loss also. So with that, it's one of those concepts where it has a lot of application across the topics. So from that point of view, if we only see, it also has a lot of probability to come or a probability to test your understanding from this area when it comes to any entrance exam. What we do primarily today is we will cover these topics, all of its fundamentals, in the next half an hour or so, and then we wrap today's session. In the next session, we'll come and do problem solving on each of these area and try to see where your understandings are and will you be able to solve some of this problem, or see how am I solving that problem in the next session, and then go on and practice more. With that, if in any of the explanation that I'm giving or any of the concepts that I'm explaining, if you have any doubt, since this is more of a one-way communication right now, I request you to drop comments on the description box, and not in the description box, drop comments in the video, and then from there I will be able to answer that. And if needed, you can drop me a mail. From there we can take it forward, but first drop in the comment, and then I can respond that wherever you have any doubt. So with that, hope it's clear. Let's move. So today's session is primarily we will be covering these topics. So we'll start with an introduction of percentage, why it is required, from where it is coming, what's the significance of using percentage. Then we'll do the percentage to decimal. Forgive me about my handwriting. So percentage to decimal. So all the percentages can be converted into decimal. So we'll just understand that part a bit. Then we'll go to the base concept of percentage, which is a very important concept to be learned. We also do percentage change. So percentage change is a little defined concept. You need to understand that. We'll do a multiplication factor. It's a very fun way or a very powerful way of calculating things faster. So understand that multiplication factor. Then comes the most important piece of the entire lot is the successive percentage. A lot of application that can be applied here. When I'm explaining that, when I'll explain that, I will possibly show you where all you can use successive percentage, not only a typical arithmetic problem, but to some extent, some mensuration problem also has. So if you're interested, hold on. We'll go there and we'll show you how it can be applied across, or how this is a very powerful concept to learn. Um, Finally, we'll come to profit and loss, explain the concepts around profit and loss, give you some formulas, and then finally we'll close with the understanding of mark price and discount. So again, it's a very interesting concept, mark price and discount. um, a much real world like problem you will solve here. And if you go to any the MBA colleges, they talk about is the how real world, how close to the real world problem can be. So there is a very less chance of a hypothetical scenario, and mark price and discount is possibly one of the idea which will give you the real world feel when you how actually a shopper or a seller behaves. So we'll go there, but let's start with the introduction first of a percentage. So when it comes to percentage, so let's say there is an exam going on and there are two friends, let's say John and Ravi. So there are two friends. Now, so there is an exam going on. They're in same school. I'm not saying they're in the same class, but they're in the same school. Both of them have their annual exam. Friends, but may not be in the same class. So let's say John got 80 marks in maths and Ravi got, let's say, 60 marks in maths. So by the face of it, can you say who is a better student? You may say John is a better student because John got the higher marks than Ravi. But like I said, they may not be from the same class, so it may not be the same exam. So let's say these are two different exams they have given in the same time. So from there, I will not be able to say because I don't know the total marks of the exam. So let's say that John's total marks for the exam is, let's say, 200, and for Ravi the total mark was 100. So what we can do is, when there are variations in the total marks, so how to make them, sorry, how to compare with them with each other. So that's where the percentage concept came. Percentage, or if we break this concept, it becomes per cent. So per cent means per 100. So 100 is considered as the base. So there is a need of introducing a common base, because for John the base is 200, for Ravi the base is 100. So how will you compare? Or let's say for Ravi the base is 150. How will you compare? By base I mean the total marks here. So to compare that, there is always a need for a common base, and from that need the concept of percentage came, or per 100 came into picture. So for John, I know he got in 200 he got 80. So in 100 he should have got 40, and for Ravi in 100 he has already got 60. So for John, his marks is 40 percentage. So how we write? So we write it with this sign of percentage, which you might be aware. We say, when we say John's marks is 40%, so that means if the exam was of 100 marks, John would have got 40. Ravi's marks is 60%. So we can say if the exam is of 100 marks, Ravi would have got 60. Now, if the total marks of the exam is 500, Ravi would have got 60 into 5, 300. That's how we calculate. But our base is now same. We say John got 40%, Ravi got 60% marks. So Ravi is a better student. So not only with the absolute value, it is also required to know the base or the total on which the absolute value is calculated. So then you can convert into a percentage, and then becomes a common ground to compare two things. So that's where the concept of percentage comes into picture. Now, like I said, for 40% you see, or 60% you see, there is a, so this is not for a problem standpoint, but for your understanding, all these percentages can be converted into fractions. Like how 40% means 40 by 100, or we can say 0.4. right? So like if I say if something is 50%, we can convert into half, right? So basically, let's say so there is a table I am going to write, but you can remember that it's very useful for you in terms of percentages, and specifically to data interpretation. So when something is given into half, it's basically means as 50%. Similarly, 1 by 3, I think is 33.33%. So 1 by 3 is a fraction. If you convert it into a percentage, you just need to multiply with 100 and put percentages. So that's how we do it. So 1 by 4 is 25%. 1 by 5 is 20%. Just multiplying with 100 and put the percentage marks. So 1 by 6 is 16.66%. So till here you may be knowing. 1 by 7 is 14.28%. 1 by 8, a very important one, 12.5%. So someone might tell you, okay, what is 3 by 8 in terms of percentage? Not come directly as a question, but you may see the use of it when you do a data interpretation. Something is 3 by 8 is given and you have to convert it into percentage. You can right away say it's 3 times of 1 by 8 or 3 times of 12.5%, which is 37.5%. So you can do that. Similarly, 1 by 9, again a very important one, 11.11. 1 by 10 is 10%. Similarly, you can see, you can put a chart till 1 by 20, and I would request you to remember that. So keep a chart like this till 1 by 20, and you should remember that 1 by 20 is 5%. So this chart, if you see typically for at least 2 minutes before you start your study for a week, should be very comfortable to you, and this gives you a lot of power in terms of calculating things much faster. So this table is more of making your calculations paid faster rather than to do with percentage and profit and loss. But more or less, if you what you need to understand from a concept point of view is from a fraction how to convert into a percentage. It's just multiplied with 100 and then put the percentage value. So that now let's move to the next concept of percentage, which is called as the base. So for, let's say I say A is 25% taller than B. So what you considered as base? So by base, I mean, do you consider A as 100 or you consider B as 100? So if it says A is 25% taller than B, we normally consider this B as 100, and A is 25% taller than B means 100 plus 25% of 100, or we do 100 plus 25, 125, right? So, or we can say A got 90% of B in exam. So again, we consider B as 100. So B as base and A is 90% of 100 on 90. So normally this is a very powerful concept. So if you consider A as 100, your entire problem will go wrong. A is 25% taller than B does not mean B is 25% shorter than A, right? So we'll come to that problem and how to solve it in the next session, but understand that it's not similar. Okay, I'll take a small example and show you. So if B is 100, A is 125, right? So what if, so I say A is 125 and B is 100. So similarly, if I have to think of what is B when A is 100, so A is, so 125, then it is 100. It is 1, it will be 100 by 125. So if it is 100, it will be 100 into 100 by 125. If you calculate that, so let's do that here. 100 into 100 by 125. So do that. 25 is a 4, 5, 20, so it is 80. So if A is 100, my B is going to be 80. So it's not a 25% less. So if A is 25% taller than B, does not mean B is 25% shorter than A. So it's not similar, and we will solve more problems on this. But what I'm trying to tell you with this is, if you consider A as 100, the problem may go completely wrong. So you need to understand what needs to be considered as base, and most of the percentage problem gets wrong for most of the students is because of misunderstanding the base. So when you calculate the base, the one hack I can give you is to see the word than or of. Whatever comes after this in the statement, this in the question becomes your base. So in this case, taller than B. So B is your base. In this question, A got 90% marks of B. So B is the base. So whatever comes then after than or of in a statement, so after than or of in a statement is basically your base. So this is the one hack you can remember, and that's how we can do it with base. I think that's about it. Let's see what was the next topic. Just a minute, let me just have a look. So the next topic was on percentage change. So percentage change is basically says, so this is just a formula. So let's say A got used to get 300 rupees per hour as salary. Now A get 500 rupees per hour as salary. So what is the percentage change? Non absolute value wise, we know it's 200 rupees, but what is the percentage change? So you can say percentage change. The normal formula is final value or the new value minus actual divided by actual into 100. This is the formula of percentage change. So in this case, we know it will be 500 is the final, 300 is the actual or the previous one. So final and actual, you can see new and previous also, or it's final and actual also. So this is my 300 into 100. So if I do 200 by 300, 200 or 2 by 3. 200 or 66.66%. So A's salary has increased by 66.66%. If this value is negative, it's a reduction. Then comes another concept of multiplication factor. Again, it's not a problem level. A problem may come from here, but you need to understand this so that you can calculate things faster. So let's say something is increased by 20%. So that means your multiplication factor. So if it is 100, then it's become 120. So if it is 1, it would have become 1.2. So if 20% is increase, your multiplication factor becomes 1.2. Similarly, if 30% is increasing, let's say 100 becomes 130 or 1 becomes 1.3. The multiplication factor becomes 1.3. Where to use it? As an example, let's say B's salary is 30% more than A, and I say A gets something like 377. Okay, so how you calculate B? So B is, there are two ways to calculate B. You can either do 377 plus 30%, no, 377, or you can directly just multiply with 1.3 into 377. So that's the power of multiplication factor. It reduces the number of steps and give you the answer right away. Similarly, what would happen ulta if let's say 20% down, then your typically 100 becomes 80 or 1 becomes 0.8. So your multiplication factor becomes 0.8. If it is 25% down, the multiplication factor becomes 0.75. So that's the use of multiplication factor. It reduces the number of steps, that's all. There's not a problem that which will ask you to use multiplication factor, but it's more of your convenience to do it. Okay. So let's see what all we have covered till now. So we have covered introduction, we have covered percentage and decimal, base concept, percentage change, and multiplication factor. Now comes the most important part of this session, the last three area, which is where the most of the problem will come from: successive percentage, profit and loss, mark price, and discount. Let's quickly start on successive percentage. So when it comes to successive percentage, we normally tend to use this a lot in our daily life. Let's say there is a product. Let's say there is a product. Let's say a pen only. Now, you have, let's say the pen's price is 100 rupees. Now, you have increased the pen price by 10% in day one. Now you see the sale is moving. You have further increased the price by another 10% on day two. So what is the final price? So if I just have to calculate that, so basically there is a successive thing happening. So successive means you have more than 1% change that is happening, but the second percentage change is happening on the value that you arrived by applying the first percentage change. So first, the pen's value was 100. If I increase by 10%, its value would have become 110. Now the second percentage change of another 10% will happen on 110, not on 100. On this, not on this. So if I say 10% of 110, that means 11 rupees. So 121 is the final value. So the difference between this is if you apply 10% and 10% separately on 100, you would have got 20%, or you got 120 as the final price. But here you are getting 121. So how to calculate from here to here, how much is the percentage change without doing multiple things? What's the formula? To see the effect of successive percentage change as 1% is basically what we are trying to understand. So if let's say the first percentage change is A and the second percentage change is B, then the final of the total percentage change be A plus B plus AB by 100%. So in this case, we know A is also 10, B is also 10. So 10 into 10 by 100%. You can do this as 20 plus 1, 21%. So you see the final percentage change is 21%. So 100 becomes 121. So instead of doing this multiple times, this formula, again, a very powerful formula, will tell you how to apply the successive percentage change when there are multiple things happening. So one way to see it is when there are successive changes happening on the same percentage. So let's say there is a shirt, someone is selling the shirt. Now they increase the price of the shirt by 20%, and the next time they have increased the price of the shirt by 30% in the next month. So what is the final change? So you can easily calculate 20 plus 30 plus 20 into 30 by 100, or you can say 50. This is maybe 600, so 56%. So you can say the total change is 56%, not 20 plus 30, 50%. So that's the power of successive percentage. When the next change of percentage happens on the previous, not on the first value, but the changed value from the first percentage change. So that's when we apply the successive percentage formula. It will also be applicable when there is a reduction happening. So let's say you put up a price, you increase by 10%, but then you see sale is not happening much, you reduce by 5%, or from the very beginning you reduce by 10%, and then the sale is not happening, you further reduce by another 10%, how it will happen? So the formula will remain same, your values become negative. So let's say you have first reduced the price by 10%, not happening, again you reduce the price by 20%. So what is the total? If the value is 100, what will be the final value, right? So in that case, the formula remains same, a plus b plus ab by 100, or we can say minus 10 plus minus 20 plus minus 10 into minus 20 by 100, this much percentage. So this is minus 30, the top part, this part is minus 30 plus 200, so 2, so minus 20%. So if its price is 100, it becomes 72. So that's how we calculate. So 28% reduction in price. So negative means reduction, positive means increase. Also, there is one more place where you can use successive percentages when product of two entity is constant. So let's say area. I told you we can use it in terms of mensuration also. So area of a square or a rectangle is basically length into height. So length into height. We often see a problem where it says my length is increased by 10%, my height is increased by 20%. What will be my change in my area, right? So here also you can use successive percentage. Area's percentage change in area is the result of percentage change in the successive percentage of same successive percentage formula for length and height. So 10 plus 20 by 100, or you can calculate this to 32%. So the idea here is whenever there is a product like A equal to B to C, and you know the percentage change in B, you know the percentage change in C, to get the percentage change in A, you have to apply the successive percentage formula. Now also remember, the successive percentage formula applies for only a 2 percentage changes. So the successive percentage change formula will be applicable to 2 entities at a time, or 2 percentage changes at a time. Let's say you increase 10%, 20%, 30% 3 times. First you take 10 and 20, get the final value, use that as one value and the third as the second value. So let's say if there are 10%, 20% and 30%, or 3 percentage changes, 3 percentage increases, then to get the final value, first take 10 and 20, you will get 32% by applying the successive percentage formula. Then in the next stage, take 32 and 30 and then do it. So basically do 32 plus 30 plus 32 into 30 by 100, or in this case we'll get 62 plus 9.6 or 71.6%. So this is your final percentage change, but this formula cannot be applied to more than 2 entities at a time. Take 2 entities, get the final value, use that as the first value and the third as the second value, and get the answer. So that's how we do successive percentage. We'll do a lot of problem on this in the next session, so your understanding gets much more refined. But that's how we do successive percentage. Now comes to another important part of your profit and loss. So when it comes to profit and loss, so what is profit? Whenever if you do a business, you will always look for a profit. So what is profit? So in business, there are 2 concepts primarily. One is the CP, or we say cost price. One is SP, or we say sale price. So cost price is basically at which you buy a product. Sale price is at which you sell a product. So let's say you buy a pen from a store at 10 rupees. You want to sell it to your friend. Obviously, you want to get something out of it, so you will sell it at 15 rupees. So in that case, your cost price becomes 10, your sale price becomes 15. So whenever your sale price is more than your cost price, you will get a profit. Whenever your sale price is less than your cost price, you will get a loss. Let's say you got some 20 pens and Obviously you are not going to use all of them, but none of them is selling at a higher price, so you have to reduce the price just to recover some amount of the cost you have incurred. So that time you sell something at loss also. Or let's say someone like um, a shopkeeper who sells sugar, or let's say some fruits, and so after 1 or 2 days if the fruits are not selling, it will get completely spoiled. So in order to recover that cost, he may give you at a lesser price than he actually bought that. So that time he incurs loss, but still able to recover some of the cost that he has paid, rather than completely forget about the cost that he has paid to buy them. So that time someone says a lot, but overall the business narrative is try to get the profit as much as possible. So we understand when is profit is happening, when is sale is happening. It's simple: sale price more than cost price, profit; sale price less than cost price is loss. So what can be the formula of profit? So if I say profit formula, it will be sale price minus cost price, because sale price will be more. So if I say percentage profit, so this is a very important part. So we say, you got a pen at 10, you sell the pen at 15. So I can understand your profit will be 15 minus 10, 5 rupees. But how much percentage of profit? So normally percentage of profit gets calculated. This is a very important area, calculated on cost price. Never calculate the percentage profit on sale price. On cost price or on sale price means keep sale cost price as a base, not sale price as a base, unless specifically mentioned. So if in a problem they said what is the percentage profit on sale price, then your sale price becomes base. Otherwise, if they say whenever what percentage of profit is earned, nothing is mentioned, is inherently you should assume that your cost price is your base and sale price is not is your base. So percentage profit is normally the formula is profit by cost price into 100. So in this case, it's 5 rupees by 10 into 100, or we can say 50% is the percentage profit. So this part has to be cost price if nothing is mentioned. If mentioned from sale price, you can put as sale price here instead of a cost price. Similarly, what is loss? Loss is cost price minus sale price. Percentage loss is basically loss again by cost price, unless specifically mentioned. It has to be cost price, the denominator, otherwise it can be sale price if it is mentioned, into 100. Okay. Also, there is another way of writing it. Let's say percentage profit is profit by cost price into 100. So profit we can also write as sale price minus cost price by cost price into 100, or we can say SP by CP minus 1 into 100. Why I write this? Because a lot of time they will ask you to calculate percentage profit, but they may not give you profit. They may give you sale price and cost price ka ratio. So from here you can use this formula to get the percentage profit. Similarly, for percentage loss, we know it's CP minus SP by CP into 100. So if we do, it is 1 minus SP by CP into 100. Again, sometime they may give you SP-CP ratio or SP as a percentage of CP, and then from there they are asking to percentage loss. They may not give you the loss value directly, they may not give you the profit value directly, but asking to percentage profit and percentage loss, you can use this formula to get there. So I think that's about it. These are the few things you need to remember from profit and loss. What is the formula for profit and loss? When is profit? When is loss? How to get profit percentage and loss percentage. That's all from profit and loss. But when it comes to any MBA entrance exam, expect around 2 problems, or at least one problem for CAT and up to 3 to 4 problems when it comes to Nmat Snap IFT from profit and loss, with the number of questions a little more. Sometimes you get 3, sometimes you get 2 also from profit and loss. So a very important area, we'll see solve a lot of problem in the next session on the profit and loss to make sure you understand all the type of problem and all the scenarios well. But we'll use only these concepts that we have covered in today's session. So concept wise, we should be very clear on this session. The last part of today's session is marked up and discount, right? So marked up percentage and discount percentage. So this is what we are going to do. So it's a very real world kind of a problem. So when we say, if you go to a Shoppers Stop or if you go to a Pantaloons, you will see there is a product, let's say a jeans. Okay. Jeans Cooper, you will see on top of that jeans, there is a 50% plus 40% discount, right? This is one example of a successive percentage. When they say 50% discount, 40% discount, so it does not mean 90%. I'll just show you, and why I'm doing it in markup and discount, I'll show you. So this is basically minus 50 plus minus 40 plus minus 50 into minus 40 by 100. So you will calculate that and we will find out minus 90 plus you will see this is 20. So this is actually a minus 70. So you will see a 70% discount, not 90% discount, but it will give you a feel of 90% discount. So this is one of the marketing strategies. Show you 50% plus 40% discount does not mean it's a 90%, it's a 70% discount. But if you see, typically there is also another tactic that is used. So let's say a jeans, the price of the jeans is 100 rupees. Okay. So this is let's say the sale price of the jean, they have let's say the cost price of the jeans is 100 rupees. Now they want to sell it as a profit, or let's say a seller in Shoppers Stop wants to sell it as a profit. Now they also know the customers are mostly attracted by seeing a discount. So what they will do? So if they say 100 rupees is my jeans cost price and I'm selling it at 120, maybe no one will buy. Or if there is no discount, no one will buy. So in order to give a discount, they have to reduce the price, but they also want to sell at a profit. So what they do, if 100 rupees is the cost price, they put let's say a markup of 50%. Or they put a label on top of that jeans and say this jeans is selling price of that jeans, or the markup price of that jeans is 150 rupees. Now they will say you, I'm giving you 20% or let's say 10% discount. So then they give you a discount on the markup price, and let's say the discount is of 10%. So 15 rupees reduced. So the price is 135. This is the selling price of the jeans. Now, as a buyer, once you enter, you'll see there is a 10% discount in the jeans, which you like. So obviously you will tend to buy that. You may not know that the price is marked up from the cost price to recover the profit or recover the discount. So as a seller, as a shopkeeper, as a owner of Shoppers Stop, I'm still selling my jeans which I bought at 100 rupees at 135 rupees. So I'm still getting a profit out of it. In buyer's mind, buyer is getting a discount out of it. So you are happy, I am happy, the sale is happening. So that's the technique. It's a very real world technique, and you see multiple times happening in a lot of stores, not only of big stores, but in small stores also. They're giving you a discount, but not necessarily they are making a loss. So that's the method. So basically, there are two concepts. One is markup price, which is basically calculated on cost price. So always remember, markup price is basically a markup percentage on cost price plus markup percentage. So unless you know the markup percentage, you can't calculate the markup price, but markup price is always calculated from cost price as a base. Now from markup price, you give a discount. So when you calculate a discount, it always on markup price. So a discount is never calculated on a cost price or a selling price. Discount, if there is a markup concept given, it has to be calculated on the markup price. So from markup price, you give discount, you get sale price. So, and cost price plus profit is also sale price. So basically markup price, I am writing as MP, is basically cost price plus percentage markup. If you, how you get sale price? So there are two formulas of getting the sale price. Sale price is markup price minus discount, or sale price can also be get as cost price plus profit. So these are the two ways you can get sale price. So either add cost price to a profit to the cost price, you will get sale price, or if you subtract discount from markup price, you get the sale price. So these are the one more important concept that we have used, and a very relevant concept or very significant concept in terms of your CAT or any other entrance exam, will solve a lot of problem on this, and hopefully you will be able to understand all of this from a problem standpoint in the next session. But from today's session, just revisit all the concepts. If some part, if you are not clear, some of the examples you are not clear, please drop a comment in the description, drop a comment, and from there I'll be able to help you. And when we publish the problem session, possibly a couple of days from today, you will be able to understand all of this in a problem scenario. We don't want to overload you with all of this in one session. Understand the concepts fully. Read about this a little more, try out one or two problems, see if you are happy, if it is clicking with you. Then in the next session, we'll come back and solve a lot of problem on this to understand these concepts. Then in the third session, we will take it to the advanced level problems on all of these concepts. So hopefully this session was helpful. Thank you. See you next time.